Okay. Hello. It's a virtual medicine making circle. So let me just make sure my sound is okay. If you can type in the chat and just tell me that you can hear me and see me live. This is a new live streaming software that I'm using, and just say hello. Say, hi, Cami, I can see you, I can hear you. Tell me that my sound is okay. Sounds good. Oh, I love it when the technology works. Okay, good. All right, so there's a whole lot of oh, thank you. Oh, thank you for being here. Thank you for I'm so grateful. I had a vision to do this circle, and then once you have the vision, you have to put the tech together, and oh my gosh. All right, so I see everybody. So I will be looking at the chat later and answering everybody's question. I'm going to begin by telling you what we're going to do tonight, and then I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to invite you to talk with me and chat with me. Oh, good to go. You ready with some tea and snacks? Okay, good, good. Oh, so grateful for all of you for being here for this time. It's not an easy time, but for me, the herbs are such a powerful player right now. And so I wanted to take this time to make medicine with you and talk about how I work with the herbs and with the tea. And so, okay, hello everybody. Hey, Francis. So welcome to this herbal medicine circle. And we're going to make tea together. And the intention of this is to help us come together, and for one thing is to help all of us see the value of the medicine circle. So if you haven't created your herbal medicine circle, well, right now is probably not the time to do it because we're distancing, but let this experience guide you to gathering the people that you make medicine with. When you make medicine, so one thing that nobody ever taught me, but that I saw time and time again in my herb classes for the last 30 years, is that we can all be making medicine, but when we stop and all make one medicine together and then infuse that medicine with our heart and our prayers, the medicine takes on another form. And so that's what I want to do with you tonight. Some people meditate in the morning. I make tea. And sometimes my tea is as fast as I can make it. I don't think about anything, just, out the door. But I also make tea many times as a meditation. And so that the act of making the tea itself is very transformational and healing. And so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to demonstrate how I connect deeply with the herbs that I'm making tea with, how I say thank you to the plants, and how I ask for help. So we're going to make tea. So if you've already made tea, that's great. You can infuse your prayers, and we'll have. I'm going to where there'll be a time for us to do that. And if you're going to make it step by step with me, that's also too. And so one thing I want to say is there's no one way to make tea. Oh my gosh, there's so many ways to make tea. Just because I do it one way, it doesn't mean that that's the way that you have to do it. Okay, so even if you just have a tea bag, this is what I'm working on. My vision for this ceremony, for this gathering, is for us to put our love and care and intention into the medicine. And how we do that, so we are creating a field right now. And even though you're there and I'm here, we come together as a medicine circle. And again, I invite you to create your medicine circle, even if it's one other person, where you put your intention. So I have many, many students that have created medicine circles that have been meeting for years, some of them even more than 2 decades. And the medicine that they make together, that they pray and sing, when they come home, everybody wants that medicine because people know that you can't buy that. And so we are going to create something that is not just going to be with our head, how much, but we are going to drop down and activate and infuse our medicine with our heart, our belly, with all of who we are. And so we're going to engage our thoughts, our intentions, our wishes, our prayers for ourselves, our family, our community, our loved ones, and even the world. And so first, I'd like to start off by saying, who are you making tea for? Okay, you can type it in the chat box. Who are you making tea for? How are you doing? How are you? This is a time, everybody's going through something different. We're not all having the same experience. But one thing is for sure, it is a time of great change. How are you doing with this change, whatever it is in your life, whether you're working 24/7 on the front lines and you're haven't seen your family, or you're alone, or just there's so many different experiences right now. We're going to make this medicine for healing for whatever it is you want to dedicate it to. If you want to dedicate this medicine to yourself, dedicate it to yourself. If you want to dedicate it to a nurse that you know on the front lines, dedicate it to her. Who are you making medicine for tonight? So I want you can type that into the chat if you like. Myself, my women friends, my family, my mom. You want to dedicate this tea to somebody. You, your husband, you're making this tea for the world. I can feel that. You can make this tea for the world. My 81-year-old mother, my 18-year-old daughter with leukemia, my two cousins who are in the front lines in the hospital. I have many students that are nurses. They are not getting what they need right now. Opening my heart, your mother, myself. You're making tea for everyone that's in your life, including you. Right. We start with ourselves. We heal ourselves. We find out how we're doing during this time. We release, we process our emotions, and then we move on, feeding and giving and nurturing life. And when we add the herbs and the tea into that, it potentiates it. It brings it to another level. We can pray. We can do this kind of prayer, but when we do it with the herbs, it's us, it's the herbs, it's a synergy of all of that, and it goes to another level, right? So this is, so I actually, you can see I have my little plate here, and I harvested some beautiful rosemary. I have a rosemary hedge. You can have powdered rosemary from your cabinet, spice cabinet. You can have a tea bag, whatever, green tea, black tea, whatever. Yes, you're dedicating your tea to the animals and the trees. Thank you. So we're just going to hold that, who we're dedicating this medicine to. And the thing is that right now, the humans are calling on the plants. And so when we make the tea, when we make our medicines with consciousness, it's a way of letting the plants know that we are paying attention, that we're witnessing them, that we see them, that we understand and feel and are grateful for their generosity. Okay. So it's a time when the humans are calling on the plants, the herb shops, the nurseries, the seed companies, the compost delivery people, out of stock, the herb suppliers, out of stock. This isn't, though, just a mass consumption movement. We're remembering what's important. We're remembering that we call on our plants and our plant allies for support, nourishment, and care. And the one thing that the plants do is they remind us of generosity. They give and they give and they give, right? Everybody's that's stocking their we're all stocking our cabinets right now, and out of stock, out of stock. Well, the worker horses of the world, the plants, are growing right now to fill up our cupboards again, right? So the teaching of generosity. So in this process of working with the plants, of working with the tea, of making whatever medicine you make, we become more whole. The plants engage us. They engage our emotions, our senses, more of who we are. They help us to wake up. Okay, so again, we're in the midst of a great time of change. And you want to just think for a minute and drop down and think about, how am I handling this? What's in my heart? Can I get to my heart? Because the vibration right now is really, there's a lot of, chaos and confusion and just fear. Fear can be an incredible activator. I'm not saying don't be afraid, but I'm saying don't set your vibration at fear all day, every day, right? When we make the tea, when I make my tea, when I work with this rosemary, I come back home and I set my energy. I allow the rosemary to help me set my energy in a way that's healing for me and those around me. So I want to say thank you as we create this circle together. And this is about us being medicine makers. We need the medicine makers now. We need the earth stewards. Nobody, probably nobody will initiate you, right? I was never really initiated. In my early 20s, I just wanted it so bad, 30 something years ago. And I apprenticed myself to the earth. I said, Earth Mother, I love you so much. Please teach me. I kept waiting for that grandmother to show up to teach me how to do it. It never happened. I just kept asking for the earth to guide me and teach me. And you can do that too, right? There is no authority at this point that's going to teach us how to take this step forward, leading with our heart. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make tea, and then I'm going to ask you to make tea with me at whatever pace works for you. And then, as the tea is being made, we're going to all, however you put your prayer into your tea. I wasn't raised doing that, but we are energetic beings. You can hum, or if it's uncomfortable for you, just get started. Just start by saying thank you. Maybe hum, move, shake, like whatever comes to you, how you would like to say thank you to the tea. We're going to start with that. Um, and like I said, if really infusing your energy into a medicine is new for you, this isn't a religion. This is not a religion. This is about you finding what is your medicine. What is your medicine path? How do you potentiate your herbal medicines with your hands and your heart and your love? And like I said, you can't buy that. This isn't just about making the best elderberry syrup. This is about infusing our medicine with care. So, what I do is, the plants, they help bring me back to my senses. I say thank you. I ask for help. I find my heart. And then I ask for specific help. Okay. So, yeah, and I'm of Irish, Scottish ancestry, and many lines of my family came to California in the 1850s. And I have been trying to reclaim my earth awareness my entire life, right? And so we all come from a different background of how much earth wisdom, how much we were taught to respect and love and care for the earth. But it is the time now to say, Mother Earth, how do we serve you? How do we care for you? How can we heal with you and from you? And that's what we're going to ask of this tea together. So we're going to create this circle. You can call in your helpers. You can call in those who you'd like to help. And yeah, I see so much dedication. Yes. I dedicate this tea to all the animals, plants, teachers, healers, and those that are suffering. If you know anybody in bereavement right now, you can dedicate this medicine to them. So the thing is that when we settle down and we tune in and we start to just bring our energy out of just the constant whatever's happening up here, when we bring it down into our belly and our heart, we start to hear our inner voice and the voice of the earth. Okay, so we're going to begin by bringing ourselves into the presence of whatever tea you're making. So I'm making rosemary. I have a fresh rosemary hedge. I have such a good fortune to have fresh rosemary. Like I said, you can make tea with whatever you want. But one of the things that I do is I just start by taking the time to really let myself become totally present in my senses. That is the gift of the herbs. They speak to you through your emotions and your senses. So when you breathe in, you think, oh, yeah, I know what rosemary smells like. Oh, yeah, I have my dried rosemary. Oh, yeah, I know. No. You come to that plant new. each time, I'm going to start crying. Each time my rosemary hedge, I know that those oils, that smell is entering my body. It's changing my blood. It's changing my brain. It's changing my chemistry. It's acting on me already. So I start by just letting go of, what my husband said earlier, and how we didn't get the garbage out, and my to-do list, and uh handling all the tech to get here live with you. Oh my gosh, that's 2 days worth of chi right there. I come right here right now, and everything goes away. Smell, I want you to smell your herb. Smell it as though you've never smelt it before. And when you smell and when you inhale, you cannot think, even if it's only for 3 seconds. You inhale your rosemary, and the to-do list, it might come back right away, but that is the gift of coming to your senses, dropping down and letting the smell, the texture, the oiliness, the color of these. Can you see these blue flowers there? You see the blue flower, the color, the taste. You come into your senses through the plant. And that's what I do. I slow down and just take a moment and linger over my sensory, how I feel. I crush it. I look at the colors. I mean, look, if you really look at all the colors, it's incredible. The white, anyway, we could spend a half hour just going in to our sensory input. But what that does, when you engage your senses, it starts to give your mind a break, and it helps you get right here, which is where you need to be, right here, right now. So I take time, and then I talk to my plants. I say, first of all, I start with thank you. Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you for everything that it took for you to get here, to be in my hands, for me to be able to make tea with. And I say thank you. So, what I want to ask you is, how do you say thank you? There is no one way. How do you say thank you to your medicines, to your plants, to the herbs? You want to, and if you don't know, or if you think you may know, new things come to me all the time. So start putting that question out there. Dear Mother Earth, how can I thank you? How can I say thank you? Okay, so we say thank you. And then one of the ways that's really helpful for dropping in is I just start to think about this plant. And I think about it in my life. So if you're working with, I'm going to just talk about rosemary, but whatever plant you're working with, think about that plant in your life. Was there a hedge when you were a kid? When was the first time you met it? How often do you see it? Where does it grow in your life? Where do you import it from? Just take a moment and drop in to the experience of you, what you've had, how the experience you've had with this plant in your life. And then you think about the plant itself. Like, how did it get here? How did it get to California from the Mediterranean hundreds of years ago? And I just start to let go of my day and really tune into this plant, my experience with it, the plant itself, right? Did you buy it in a plastic bag in the store? And as I do this, I start to breathe. And I'm going to invite you to take a couple deep breaths, because when we keep our breath up here and contracted, it keeps the sympathetic nervous system going. But when actually you take a breath deep into your belly, which is what the rosemary has you do, your parasympathetic nerve endings are in the base of your spine and your pelvis. And when you breathe deeply, it starts to activate the relaxation side of your nervous system, which is the side of your nervous system that can start to hear the plants and start to perceive inner knowing, intuition, and whatever your questions for healing are tonight. So just take some deep breaths and really deeply smell your plant, right? And let's celebrate the herb, that we're working with, and think about our relationship with it. Think about where it came from. And that those are some of the things that I do to get one with the herb, to start opening my senses, to start opening the pathway of communication for my wishes to be infused, and also for me to receive the teaching and the messages from the plants, right? So, and again, I wasn't raised like this. It just, it's something that I started asking for in my life. I started to invoke this. Your words are powerful. The words that you speak, the emotions that you feel around when you make your medicine, it goes into your medicine. Okay. But if you can find that space and let the cortisol drop, and let the endorphins and the positive kind of feelings start with the relaxation side of your nervous system, then what happens is other perceptions can start to be to come to you. So, all right, are you ready? So let me just talk about rosemary for a minute. Oh yeah, I'll have to get to the questions in a little bit. Let's see. So the thing about rosemary, rosmarinus, rosemary is warming and drying. It can be a little bit too drying over time. It's pungent. It's got those aromatic oils that are antimicrobial. It's antioxidant. It's carminative. It stimulates digestion. It increases circulation throughout the body. It's anti-inflammatory. It helps reduce pain. It's high in minerals. It's one of the herbs, the mint family is calcium, potassium, magnesium, iron. And I don't know, I can't get enough of this plant. It improves circulation, it relieves headaches, it's calming to the nervous system, right? And the color, just the color is healing, right? I love drinking it. I love putting it in my bath. If you ever feel a little bit sluggish or down, you drink some rosemary tea and it can lift you up. So yeah, and so for me, drinking rosemary tea in the morning, especially during the fall and the winter, it helps stimulate. I have low circulation. It helps bring energy to the brain. It increases memory. I actually like it as a coffee substitute in the afternoon. It's much more subtle, but it moves the blood. It gets you going. It helps you sweat a little bit. It's an invigorating herb that promotes mental clarity, and lifts the spirit, really. Okay. And if it's too drying for you, you can add a little bit of marshmallow root, or a tiny bit of licorice, or a little bit of mallow. Yeah. So I hate to think where I'd be without this plant. And also, studies show that rosemary is effective in reducing spoilage in plants. It's used for food preservation. It helps restore the nervous system. It helps the liver to digest fat. Yeah, it brings warmth, circulation, energy. It opens your sinuses, opens your lungs, helps dispel coldness and mucus from the lungs. So, whew, that's a lot, right? We could just spend a couple hours talking about the gifts of rosemary and its food uses. I hope you have the Herbal Kitchen, because I talk about putting rosemary in your food a lot, in a lot of different ways. But let's make this tea, and um, I would like you to really think about, again, who you're making this tea for, and that this tea being blessed by all of us and all of our energy together. This is the medicine circle. This is who we are. This is what we're creating. And this is what we need. We need people that love and care for and tend to the plants and tend to the people. And there's more than we can do. There's more we can do than just wash our hands and social distance. We can make our medicines and we can bless our medicines. So let's see here. I think you can see. Yep. All right. Very simple. I'm making 2 cups of tea. So I've got 2 cups of water right here. And if I were using dried rosemary, I'd put a teaspoon per cup. But since I'm using fresh rosemary, it takes up more space and it has water. So I'm going to use a tablespoon per cup. And so you can chop it or you can pick it apart with your fingers. I'm obviously going to pick it apart with my fingers right now because that's what kind of mood I'm in. So I'm stripping the rosemary from the stems, and And for me, you want to learn how much herb your hand holds. So for me, in the palm of my hand, uh, 2 tablespoons is about right for the palm of my hand. So as I strip the rosemary, and I could chop it even more with some scissors. Okay, so I've got my rosemary, and can you see this? Oh, not very well. Here we go. So I'm just gonna, you could mush it up in a mortar and pestle. Um, Putting my rosemary in there. You could chop it up more. 2 tablespoons, 1 tablespoon of fresh herb per cup. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this on high, and I'm going to just bring it to a boil. Woo! It's a rosemary bath. So again, just keep smelling your herb. I can't tell you how much you learn by continuing to smell your herb. Okay, so I'm going to bring it. What I do is I bring it to a boil, and then I turn off the heat, and then I let it sit for 20 minutes, and then I reheat it and drink it. Okay, but I'm not going to wait 20 minutes. And so, yeah, so I'd love to hear. All right. Okay, so I would love to hear how you feel you're drawn to say thank you to the plants. Do you feel comfortable with that? Do you feel comfortable saying it aloud? The plants hear us, they feel our emotions, they sense us, they know us. And how do you say thank you? Yeah, so as far as this being recorded, we never know till it's over. And there's a link where you can get the recipes. Yep, she's Kelly saying I burn the rosemary. Yeah, that's really a nice way to use the rosemary. Yeah, for giving thanks. Mhm. So again, I like to just start saying thank you. I drop down into my senses. I say thank you. And then I ask the plants, dear plants, dear rosemary, dear Mother Earth. The plants are Mother Earth. That's beautiful. Dear Mother Earth, how can I help you? What can I do? Please guide me. You know, again, I wasn't raised with this concept of sustainability. Think about the generations ahead of you. You know, we're only caretakers on this land. It's something I've had to learn. So I ask for help to be guided. Please guide me. How can I take care of you? What can I do for you? So first I say thank you. My son's father sprinkles tobacco. I sing to the plant. I say thank you by watering them. Yes. I touch them, smile at them, stop and look, send love. I feel happy. I use my plants to ground myself and be with them. I always talk to my plants. That's great. And so if you're someone that's not singing and talking to your plants, I'm going to say just fake it until you make it. Just start saying, speaking out loud. And then you'll find out, like, oh, you'll find out if you feel that it's crazy or not crazy, or you'll start to realize, you know, oh, I was invalidated or belittled, and then you can start to wash off the cultural programming that told us that the earth is not alive. There's 2 core premises that are destroying this, that the culture I was raised in is that I'm top of the food chain, right? And that intellect is king. Intellect is not king. We've got to hook it all up. And we are finding right now that we are not the top of the food chain. We have been humbled by this bacteria. And we have to remember our place, our relatedness. And we are the younger species. And it's the plants that provided the conditions for us to be here. It is the generosity of the oxygen that we receive from them. And so I ask again, I wasn't raised, I didn't, you know, nobody when I've had a lot of memories of when I was very little, very connected, but those memories weren't, it wasn't caught. And so it went away and I've had to reclaim it. And we do this work a lot in my course, Plant Wisdom. Um, yeah. So we say thank you out loud. We ask the plants, how, what can I do? Who can I be? What is my role? And yep, this thing goes slow. Yeah. And then I find my heart however long it takes. You know, if the stronger my to-do list, the longer my to-do list, the longer it takes. But through my breath, through my sensory awakening with the plants, and for saying thank you, eventually I start to be able to feel my heart, right? Start to feel like, oh, okay. And then, you know, sometimes the earth speaks in riddles. Sometimes you don't hear things right away. Sometimes the next day you get an idea of how you could move forward with a little more care for the earth. And it's step by step by step. It's not the scientists in the white coat in the room that's going to save us with some kind of vaccine. It's each of us, step by step, day by day, tuning into the heart of the matter, which is us, and moving forward each day with each step with love, whatever that is. And my tea today, I'm dedicating to the awakening of love. The earth has told me many times that she just wants the humans to love her again. So during this time of Planet on Pause and this awakening to so many people wanting herbal medicine, it's not just about the syrup and the medicine, that what we think, the pills. It's an awakening to be deeply remember our deep connection to Mother Earth and how we steward and care for her and receive her abundance. So for many of us, it's, you know, it's a time of deep questioning, right? Um, so let's see. So other ways of saying that is thank you. I sit next to them. I tend them. I weed them. I water. I prune. Allison says they feel our love. They absolutely feel our love. Desiree says she's enjoying the aroma now. It's like drink that aroma. You know, we think, oh, that smells good, but you stop and you really get present to the aroma. See where it goes. Does it go to your head? Does it go down? Where does it move in your body? Let it teach you about how it moves in your body. It's not just something, you know, we didn't get interested in herbs just to fill our head with more data. It's about awakening the embodied experience of being with the plants. And when you awaken that body, that memory of your ancestors, it's in you. That earth-based wisdom, that earth knowledge, it's in you. For me, it just got lost for a few generations. There was pretty big cultural disruption, but it's still there. You can remember. I always thank the plants before I harvest. We need both, absolutely. We need the intellect and we need intuition. We need it all. I touch my plants, I smell them, I taste them. Okay, good. So the aroma, drink that aroma. Let yourself, don't just be like, oh yeah, I smelled the roses. Let the smell of the roses stop you in your tracks and become that smell just for a moment, right? So yeah. All right. So I hope your teas are mine's starting to, yeah. Can you hear it? So yeah. So again, who are you dedicating your tea? So if you'd like to just take a moment and think about that person, think about those people, think about that situation, and do it in a deep way. So I'm not going to let my rosemary sit for 20 minutes like I usually do, because you might get sick of me talking. So I'm going to pour it into here. And oh, yeah. And you can pour it into a cup, you can pour it into a pot. And as I pour this tea, I thank you, Rosemary. Thank you for your beauty, your love, your care, everything that you've given to me in my life, and how many times you've helped me with my lung congestion, my mucus, my brain fog. Thank you. Thank you for your love and care and support. And as I make this tea in this medicine circle, I offer up this cup of tea. I offer you up to the world, that we may remember how to make medicine with our hearts and infuse our medicine with our heart and our love and awaken again. This is the time, the awakening of love and care for the earth, for Mother Earth. May this tea that we all drink help to awaken our heart and our love for the earth, and knowing that the earth is truly our mother. May that consciousness be invoked, that we remember that the earth is our mother. We take care of her water. We put her water first. May we remember to put her water first. I offer this tea as a tea to awakening the heart, for kindness and care at this time of change. It's too hot to drink. So I would love to hear your prayer. I wish we could all speak into the room and hear everyone's prayer. When we make this medicine in my medicine circle, it's usually about 30 people. And we take the time and we go around, and each person cries or sings, invokes who needs healing, says a blessing. But you see, the steam carries our thoughts. That's why when you make your tea, be mindful of what you're thinking. And be mindful that it's just, it seems like a long way between here and here. And especially under stress, like, what do we do to open this space? Take in the breath and then start to remember who we are, why we're here, and what it is, what's the next step we can take from love and kindness to feed and care for life. So Christina says she's dedicating, let me just pull up the chat here. She's dedicating to those caring for the first responders in the hospitals, the nurses, the doctors, the staff, with love from the beautiful world of nature. God, thank you, Rosemary. I breathe mine when it's too hot to drink. Yeah. And so you see, there's so much for us to learn. It's not just about the coronavirus. It's about our susceptibility. When you poison the water, when you live among 80,000 poisons and pesticides and herbicides, the liver's backed up, our biome has been disrupted. Your personal biome is where is the root of your immune system. When we disrupt the biome, when we pollute the water, when we back up the liver with too many poisons, we are susceptible. We are susceptible. And so how do we listen for the guidance of how to heal ourselves, heal our food, heal our water, take care of each other? I don't think we're going to go back to what we're going to get back to normal. We're creating a new story. And when we gather in a medicine circle, we set a field of healing and we pray and ask for guidance for our new story, one that puts the earth first, the water first. I dedicate my prayer to all who are having a hard time breathing. Bless the great Mother Earth. My first time to drink rosemary tea. It's so good. My mom is in the nursing home. Pray for my daughter. She has a baby without me there in the middle of this pandemic. I was blessing the tea, but then I started crying. Oh, I hope I'm not ruining the blessing. Let me just say that your tears are sacred. Your tears are the waters. And if we don't cry, not that everybody needs to cry, but if we need to cry, that the blocked up emotion and sadness is like a gate that has to be opened between to get to our heart. It's the tears that open our heart. So when you cry into your tea, it's the blessing of of helping us release the trauma. See, we're all responding differently because we all have different levels of trauma. And this pandemic is bringing our trauma up. So the more we can process our trauma and our pain and our sadness, the more we'll be able to hear the guidance. Crying is an opening of the heart. Kathleen, thank you. I dedicate my tea practice to those who are afraid and experiencing panic. I dedicate you to all those in fear in nursing homes. Please help me focus and work hard during this time. Right. I'm dedicating this to my father who has advanced cancer. So this is what we do as medicine people. We learn the plants. We love the plants. We care for the plants. We ask for guidance from the earth and the plants. How can we care? How can we be better stewards, better earth stewards? How can we take care of the water? And then we ask the plants to heal us, to help heal us, and they do. And with our thoughts invoked into the tea, into the medicine, this is what we do. And so I just want to say, also, I want you to know that we're doing a tea ceremony tomorrow night with Lani Kamau Yamasaki, and the following evening with Jolie Elan. And tomorrow's a new moon, and Lani is talking about in her tradition that tomorrow's a new moon in the Hawaiian tradition. It's about bringing blessing of good health and leading with matters of the heart. And so both of the blessings tomorrow, I think they're going to build over the next 3 days. I didn't know exactly how it was going to all work out, but I can feel that this ceremony is going to build over the next 3 days. So I really invite you to please share the link to invite people of how they can register so that we can send the next link. So the links for tomorrow are going to be different. They're going to be in your email. And if you want to invite somebody, please, I'll put the link where they can put in their email and we'll send it to them. And we don't ever know if there's a replay until after it's over. I'm trying to keep strong while healing my gut. I'm dedicating to my daughter who is separated. I know it's so hard. I know many elders that are alone right now and separated from their grandchildren. I keep crying about my mother in a nursing home in another state. Every day on my way to work at the hospital, I ground and pray to Mother Earth. My mantra is peace, love, and harmony. We are living in a story right now. There's a cultural story. And this time, and when I mean planet on pause, I don't mean that we're all home. I know that we're all working at different levels. But this is a time of people rethinking what's important. And during this time of pause, we are seeing different parts of the earth healing. And so, what is the new story? What is the story, step by step, that we're going to create? Because what was happening before wasn't really working. We Sustainable means that we receive the gifts of the earth in a way that the people coming after us will be able to live. And right now, we're using up the earth's resources beyond her ability to regenerate. It's not working. So, the beauty of the earth and the generosity of the harvest is there. We just have to drop in and tune in and listen, and we can be guided. And then it takes courage to just take, it's not going to happen overnight. What is the step that you can take today? I'm dedicating this to my dear friend Carrie, who has stage 4 lung cancer. My daughter with cystic fibrosis, with my mother, who has COPD, and my stepfather, whose 70th birthday today. Healing and deep, glorious breath for you all. This virus, it affects the lungs. The lungs is where we hold grief. As we see the species and the planet crumbling around us, we don't cry enough. We just keep going, and that grief just builds. This is a time to render, to process our grief and see what it means. What does it really mean to come back in right relationship and to create that covenants with the earth mother again? She is our mother. What does it mean for us to be in relationship, deep connected relationship, caring for her? What are the vitality signs? What do we look for to make sure she's healthy? Is that, can we lead with caring for the water? Dedicating my prayers to my son and my daughter, compassion to all. A time to process grief and sadness, to come back to the earth. I dedicate this tea to my kids. I've been working on a new herbal and essential oil business that I want to teach and pass to them. I am with you. And so as you drink your tea, you can also just pour some tea on the ground to offer it. But really, sometimes I'm just like, tea, right? And sometimes it's like, you smell it, you feel the temperature, you bring your total awareness to your lips and your mouth and the flavor, just really go for this sensory experience. No matter what the outer story appears to be, we can control our character in the story and our response. So grateful for the reminder that plants are our beloved partners in this response. Kelly says, tears, I'm getting a bit emotional. Thanks so much. Yes, cry. I cry almost every day. There's a lot to cry about. Then I go into my garden, and the beauty of my garden brings me back. This is for my daughter who overdosed recently. For my father who had surgery. Family dynamics from stress. So much chaos. Gracias. Thank you. The calmness of this is just what I needed today. So I think I could just go on and on. And like I said, I make tea so fast I can't even see straight sometimes, and I guzzle it down. And this isn't always how I do it, but this is how I do it a lot. And the more we can find our heart, listen, say thank you, and ask. And then when we can do it together, that's a whole nother thing. So thank you for joining me in this herbal medicine circle and for making tea. May this tea bring healing to you, your family, your loved ones, and may it open our hearts so that we know the story that we are creating with love. Thank you, everybody. And so tomorrow, same time, and the next day. And you do not want to miss the tea ceremony um, with Lani Kamao Yamasaki and Jolie Elan. The ceremony is going to be very powerful and very transformational. So enjoy your tea. Thank you.